First, the USDA's Justice for All non-discriminatory statement, which simply states that all persons must be treated equally without regard to their race, color, national origin, sex, religious creed, disability, age, political beliefs, or reprisal or retaliation for prior civil rights activity, and that our institution provides an inclusive space for all. For more information on the And Justice for All statement, please visit the USDA's website.
Hi everyone, my name is Brian with FCHS, Rutgers Cooperative Extension of Gloucester County, here with another Family Foodie event. The program that we're doing today is made possible through a grant from the New Jersey Department of Health and Human Services and New Jersey SNAP Ed. So this week we're doing a butternut squash soup recipe. I really like butternut squash soup, especially this time of year when it's a little bit colder out. We can still use a Jersey fresh product because our squashes, they're going to stay good for a long time. So we can keep those, store them in our homes for many weeks, and then we can still use it and use that Jersey fresh vegetable. So this is our butternut squash. So that's going to be our main ingredient in the dish today. Before we get to the recipe, just going to do a little My Plate review. So if everybody remembers My Plate, it tells us what we need to eat to be healthy. It has our 5 food groups on here. And really the main thing with My Plate is that half of the plate is fruits and vegetables, which a lot of us don't get enough of. So with this recipe, basically all the ingredients are vegetables. So it's going to help toward our vegetable goal for the day, which is nice. So let's just go over each ingredient in the recipe. So main ingredient, of course, is our butternut squash. So we have that, which of course is a vegetable. We're also going to do a few carrots. So we have our carrot here, another vegetable. We have our celery, right, another vegetable. We have garlic. We have an onion we're going to put in. We have some fresh sage for our herb, give a little bit of extra flavor. So you can see basically they're all vegetables. So with this soup, very easy to make, has all fresh ingredients, and you're helping to get all your vegetables for the day, which is nice. Alrighty, so for starting out to make this recipe, we're going to start out with our onion and our garlic. So you're going to saute that in a pot here for about 3 to 5 minutes. For the garlic, just move this out of the way. Just to go over how to prepare it. So a nice little trick is to just kind of smash it with the knife there. Then it peels real easy. So got that peel off. Nice and easy, like that. So you're just going to mince the garlic. So I'll just give a quick example here. So watch your fingers, especially with the garlic. We're always doing that claw with this your hand that's not holding the knife. Put that off. You get a few more chops just like that. Alright, doesn't have to be perfect. With this recipe, everything is going in a blender at the very end, so it doesn't have to be totally perfect. So we'll just go ahead and throw that in our bowl. So we have our minced garlic. So for garlic, you're going to do 4 cloves for this recipe. Next up, you would chop the onion. I'm not going to chop it right now. I already have the soup cooking on the stove here. But you would just do a normal chop and dice of the onion. Alright, so we have our onion in there. So you cook that on the stove for about 3 to 5 minutes, just until the onion and the garlic is soft. After that, you could do the celery and the carrots. Celery, you're just going to do a dice. Go ahead and chop the end off there. Just going to go right down the middle. And then that'll be diced nice just like that. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Alright. So that's about good. So we got our celery cut, right? Next up, we're going to do our carrot. So when I get carrots, I like to get the ones with the tops because you could always use the tops for different recipes. One of my favorites is just like a carrot top pesto. So you just use a normal pesto recipe instead of basil. You just do the carrot tops. So if you do have the carrot with the top on it. Make sure to save the top and use it for something. It is edible. But for right now, we don't need it, so I'm just going to take it off. And you're just going to peel the carrot. Alrighty. Most of that off there. Just kind of move that to the side. And then for the carrot, you can just slice it. So take that top off. And you can just do slices on the carrot. Alright, so got all that in there, we'll add that to our bowl. So once the onion and the garlic is cooking and it's cooked for a few minutes, you're going to add the carrot and the celery to the pot as well. Cook that about another 5 minutes till those are soft. After that, you're going to do the butternut squash. So preparing or cutting a butternut squash, this is where some people have some trouble. It is a little bit harder to cut than a lot of other vegetables. You can get the pre-chopped ones at the store, but I do recommend getting a whole butternut squash because it ends up being a lot cheaper than the pre-cut one. So as far as cutting it, first thing I would do is cut it in half. So again, just gotta be careful. It is a little bit hard. You need a good sharp knife for this. Okay. So by cutting it in half, and then I'm gonna just cut the end off right there. So now we have a flat surface, so you can put it on the cutting board like that. So it's gonna be a little bit easier to cut now. The next thing you're going to do, we don't really want the skin on there, right? So you always want to make sure you do clean your butternut squash well before you cut it, because when you're cutting it, you know, the knife is going through the skin, right? So it's still touching the outside. So you do want to make sure the butternut squash is clean, so I did clean that before today. So as far as getting the skin off, you usually just go around just like that. And it comes off relatively easy. You gotta put a little force into it, and you need a good knife. So we'll just do the last few pieces here. Just gotta get each end there. Alrighty, almost done. And one more side. Alright. So we got that. So now what you can do, if you wanted to do cuts just like that, we basically just want to cube it. So we can go ahead and cut pieces like that. And then for each piece, you could just go ahead and do a few chops. And then maybe if it's a big piece like that, just do a couple extras. They should be good. Usually they're about that size. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be all totally uniform. We just want them a little bit smaller so that it's going to cook a little bit quicker. So once you have all of your butternut squash, so you would chop this whole thing, and then you already have your other things cooking over here. You add your squash in. You're also going to add 4 cups of vegetable broth, actually 5 cups of vegetable broth, so you're going to add that in. Then you're also going to chop a little bit of sage up. For the sage, it's pretty easy. You just want the leaves, so you chop the bottom part off. And just a rough chop is fine on the sage. And then you can throw that in too. Okay, so I already have all that cooking in the pot here. So I've been cooking it for about 25-30 minutes. What you're looking for is for the squash to be soft. So we can test that out. Just take a fork. And it pierces the squash really easily. So that means you know it's going to be done. So what you can do next, you're going to either use an immersion blender or just a regular blender like I'm going to use. You might have to do it in a couple batches, but you're just going to go ahead and spoon all the soup you have here. So you might want to just do like half just to start out, and then do the other half. Depending the size of your blender, or if you have an immersion blender, you can just go ahead and put that right in the pot, blend that up. Alright, let's do a couple more scoops. Alright, so I'll just do that amount just for now. So let's go ahead and put the top on. We'll just blend this just for maybe 30 seconds, just until it looks smooth. pretty good to me. So you just want it to be, all blended up so you can see it looks good. It's all kind of blended up nicely there. The last thing you can do is if you want to add a little bit of milk to make it a little bit creamier, you just add a half a cup milk of your choice, then just season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. But other than that, the soup is ready, so it's good to go. The only thing that takes a little bit of time with this recipe is making sure everything is chopped up. So after you get through that, it cooks pretty quickly, and it's ready to go. So that's our butternut squash soup recipe. So thank you guys for tuning in today. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next time for the next Family Foodie event.